Dozens of kids came to hear Sylvia read Christmas classics, many of them coming for the first time.
She's awesome. I just wanted to be a part of it, right? I wanted to, like, even if it was nobody here, I would still show up.
Because all we're doing is trying to teach young children that it's all right to be reaching out and spreading love and acceptance to everybody, which I think is the best message everybody needs.
Crew out. Of course, you took Katie Daviscourt. Look at all the Antifa following me. They stole Katie Daviscourt's phone.
In Renton, Washington, outside the Brewmaster's tap room, I'm a journalist, and Antifa robbed me. They stole my phone and assaulted me, and I need the police to come.
That's not.
You can call the police if you want to. Feel free.
How? I don't have a phone.
Oh, you have your phone.
I'm not getting it out.
Yes, no, don't. You're a fascist, Katie.
Antifa swarmed me with their umbrellas, and then one of them robbed me. They stole my phone and assaulted me.
Katie Daviscourt here with Rebel News USA. Unfortunately, over the weekend when I was covering a drag queen story hour protest near Seattle, Washington, I was mobbed and robbed by members of Antifa. Militants stole my phone as the group mobbed me and swarmed me with their umbrellas to prevent me from reporting on the event. We have a plan to find the perpetrators, so please follow along and chip in if you can to support this endeavor at standwithkatie.com. For those who might be new to my reporting, since I only recently joined Rebel, I am a Seattle-based independent journalist and made a name for myself in the Pacific Northwest covering the Defund the Police movement, and I'm one of the only brave enough reporters left to continue covering Antifa extremism. So I guess let's break down what happened on Saturday. A conservative group had posted a call to action earlier in the week for people to protest a drag queen story hour event that was taking place at the Brewmaster's tap room in Renton, Washington. Now, we have all seen the grooming and vile predatory behavior at these events, which was the group's reasoning for protesting the event. The protest was called off after the owner of the restaurant claims that an unknown suspect fired a single round with what appears to have been a BB or pellet gun into the window of the restaurant, according to the Renton Police Department, and this happened only a few days after the call to action. So after the incident occurred, Antifa called on their comrades to show up to the event and protect the drag queen and the restaurant from any right-wing individual that planned to protest. Since Antifa has been extremely low on numbers, as they have had a lot of infighting due to the vast majority of the public rejecting their views, and their comrades have been hit with criminal charges for extremism that they carried out in 2020, I was shocked when I drove by on Saturday and saw hundreds outside the Brewmaster's tap room, which included dozens of armed Black Bloc Antifa militants guarding the restaurant. That's why I decided to play it safe and report from across the street. I briefly went over to the other side to get a quick video of the crowd to include in my report, and despite the extremely minimal time that I was near the crowd, it was enough for Antifa to target and rob me. Antifa militants began to swarm me with their umbrellas, and that's when one of them came up to me from behind and stole my phone out of my hands as I was recording and assaulted me in the process.
Okay? Anytime they try to step up and try to take us out, remind us every single time.
What's up, Katie? You and your shit-ass bedhead again. Outside the Brewmaster's tap room, I'm a journalist, and Antifa robbed me. They stole my phone and assaulted me, and I need the police to come.
And there go the Antifa flashlights. They stole Katie Daviscourt's phone. It's all on camera.
I was assaulted and they stole my phone. I'm a journalist. Okay.
Yeah, this is out of control.
Can I go?
They stole my phone, and after the robbery and assaults, I asked 2 local news reporters for help, and they both refused to help me call the police. One even mocked me while I was in distress and said, "That's for you to figure out on your own."
That's not, you gotta figure it out.
You can call the police if you want to. Feel free.
How? I don't have a phone.
Oh, you have your phone.
I'm not getting it out.
Yeah, no, don't. You're a fascist, Katie. No one's gonna help fascists. You Proud Boy Barbie. No one's gonna help you here. You know you hate everywhere you go. Trying to act innocent and shit, Katie. You know what you do. Stop trying to act like you don't know.
And there was no police presence at the time. I was in an unfamiliar area, so I had no way of knowing how to get home without GPS. And that's when I spotted, by the grace of God, another independent journalist named Jonathan Cho, who became the hero of the day and lent me his phone to call the police, where I was then able to get an officer to finally come to the scene and file a report for me. It was later in the evening that a source in the Renton Police Department told me that the city government told department heads to have officers not intervene in incidents that might occur at the event in order to prevent escalation. Now, this is an extremely important beat to cover as we are witnessing history being played out right in front of us, but it is also one of the most difficult beats to cover. Antifa, or should I say the modern day brown shirts, act with impunity, and now our city governments are complicit. There is no pushback from authorities, as city officials have gained full control over our police departments and order officers not to intervene with the group of extremists, despite very well knowing that they are bad actors who will carry out attacks on whoever they believe to be a threat to their cause, including innocent journalists like myself, who is there to simply report the truth and do the job that mainstream media continues to refuse to do. Unfortunately, I have become too well known to this radical group and can no longer report on these events without a security detail. We have seen Antifa brutally attack and nearly kill my former colleague and world-renowned journalist, Andy No, who has had to flee the country to even feel a sense of security, and jeopardizing my safety is just not worth it anymore to get footage. So with that said, it is crucial to stay on top of this beat. So we have created a special page called standwithkatie.com where you can help me with security funds so I can continue my important journalism here in the Pacific Northwest.
I'm Ezra Levant, the president of Rebel News. I just watched Katie's video, and I'm going to talk to her now via Skype. I'm in our Canadian head office in Toronto, and Katie is in Seattle. Katie, first of all, I want to tell you how concerned we all are that you were physically targeted and mobbed by Antifa. I hate the fact that they stole your phone, but thankfully it wasn't worse. Those are feral creatures who do not feel limited by any norms or customs of civilized society. Obviously, they're lawbreakers. I'm just glad you weren't hurt, and that's the most important thing, is that you're physically safe. I'm sorry you went through what you went through. I'm grateful to the other citizen journalist, Jonathan Cho, for helping you. I'm disgusted by the mainstream media who wouldn't even lend you their cell phone to call 911. But I'm glad you're safe, and it is my duty as the boss of Rebel News to keep you safe. And I think we have a plan, and we're going to put it on that website, standwithkatie.com, to show people the 5 things that we're going to do to try and keep you safe. There's no way to keep someone 100% safe 100% of the time. You just, the world is not perfect. You can't plan for everything. But I have some ideas of what might work. And one of them starts with you, which is you've got to use your judgment. If something looks too risky, there's no story worth it. There's no shot video footage that's worth it. So you are boss number one in keeping you safe. But here's 5 things that I think we can do. So can I read them to you, the 5 things that we've sort of thought about doing here to help stand with you and keep you safe?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The first is, we have to have professional security with you. And we have, in fact, getting professional security is our 3rd largest expense at Rebel News. We just spend that much money protecting our people. Sometimes we have whole teams. In that situation, I think security probably would have grabbed you and got you out of there because it was such a bad mob. But I think step one is to find a permanent Seattle-based security solution for you who's available on very short notice, because sometimes it takes us a day or two to get professional, trained, independent, insured security. We want a pro who's trained and insured. So if finding a local Seattle security guard, a bodyguard really, who can go with you on a couple hours notice, that's the highest priority. And obviously it's going to be the highest expense. Step two is getting justice for what happened to you the other day. Now, I know you've already filed a police complaint with the Renton police, and they are looking, so they say, at their surveillance footage of the scene, and that's promising. But we are going to work with them. And in fact, we are hiring a Seattle lawyer just to be a liaison to make sure the police don't slough this off. Because sometimes the police say, well, we don't want to pick a fight with Antifa or the pro-Antifa city councilors. We're hiring a Seattle lawyer to make sure that the Renton police do their job here. The third thing, and I would say this to the general public watching, is if you know who did this to Katie, send us the information. You can do that through our website at standwithkatie.com or send me an email at tips@rebelnews.com. And if you have information that leads to the identification of the perpetrator, we will pay you $500, and obviously we will maintain your confidentiality. So I'm hoping there's no honor amongst thieves, Katie. I'm hoping that someone else in that mob says, I can make a quick $500 because I know who did it. If we can get that information, I'll pay $500 for it. The fourth thing, and this is one of the reasons we're hiring Seattle lawyers, is we want to press the police to prosecute this robber. This was a robber who also assaulted you physically. Thank God you weren't hurt. But it is a crime what he did, and we need to press the prosecution to prosecute. And I know some of these liberal cities don't do that. And so that's point 5. If we are unsuccessful, we have to identify the perpetrator, but if we are unsuccessful at getting the district attorney or whichever prosecutor would be the best prosecutor, we will take steps to sue in civil court. And we have done that in other jurisdictions. We've done that in Canada. We've done that in the United Kingdom. If our reporters are targeted, we go to court for them if the police won't. So that's the 5-point plan I have, Katie. Professional security, getting police to investigate, $500 bounty for the name of the perpetrator. We don't want anyone to engage in vigilante justice. Just get us a name. We're going to press for a prosecution of the perpetrator. And finally, if we don't get that, we'll launch a civil suit ourselves. That's what we're going to do to support you. And I can tell you right now, the most expensive part of that will probably be security, because I don't want you going out in public to events like that where there's Antifa without someone watching your back. If we go to a civil suit, funding the lawyer will probably be expensive, but it is my goal to give you the kind of physical and legal protection to allow you to continue doing your important journalism, because we can't let these violent thugs stop you. That's my view. What do you think of that plan, Katie?
Thank you, Ezra. It sounds great. These modern day brown shirts have been able to commit crimes here with impunity, and it's time that they're actually held accountable.
I think so too, and we'll do our best here, but I want you to leave by making me a promise, because we can have all the security and all the lawyers in the world, but you are the best protector of you. And I want you to promise me that if you're in a situation like that, and in no way am I blaming you at all, these criminals did the crime. You were doing your journalism, your First Amendment protected journalism. Everything you've done was legal and proper, but I want you to be your first line of defense. If you see a mob like that, do not approach, because they hate you. They want to silence you. I just thank our lucky stars that they didn't physically hurt you. You can always replace a cell phone, but if they would have hurt you, it would have been terrible. So I'll do the 5 things I've listed here, but you've got to look out for number 1, and I know you'll do that. We've had a good heart-to-heart. I want you to stay safe, and I want you to keep doing great journalism, Katie.
Thank you, Ezra. You have my word. All
right, right on. Folks, if you believe in Katie's journalism, if you think it's unique, really, I can count on one hand's fingers the number of journalists. I mean, there's Andy No, There's Katie Daviscourt, and that's just about the entire list of reporters who cover what Antifa is doing. We've just got to keep her safe because those thugs think nothing about attacking a woman. I mean, it's the idea of chivalry or following the law is so alien to these folks. They would hurt her just to show they could. So we're going to protect her. I need your help, though. To hire the lawyers and the bodyguards here will wind up costing us thousands of dollars. Please consider helping. Go to standwithkatie.com. I promise I'll keep the 5 promises I made here today, and Katie will make sure she's cautious too. Go to standwithkatie.com. Let's get her back reporting where she ought to be.
I just want to say that I cannot thank you guys enough for all of the support that you guys have given me since the robbery, and it has made me feel so great about the important work that I'm doing here in the Pacific Northwest. So if you guys would like to continue supporting my efforts and make it a little bit more safer environment for me and can contribute to my security costs, that would be standwithkatie.com. Again, that is standwithkatie.com, and I really, really appreciate all of the support. Thank you, guys.